Mpho is from Orlando East.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, born and bred Orlando East. So what happened was in 2000. I know it sounds
Yeah.
very many years ago. But in any case, in 2000, I was invited to model for Revlon. So we did a nice, we were shooting, what do you call it? A promo set. So
I see.
There was new products that came out. And then after that shot, because I was still 16, we weren't paid like real money. We were given vouchers.
Yeah.
And to go shop, so into your big retail stores. FJL, then Big L. These are, quite...
Yeah, some of the brands that were big back then.
Yeah, so when we got the vouchers, my style then, I was inspired by Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I wanted that style, but I couldn't find it in the retail stores, And I was like, man, there must be a way. And remember, this is before internet. This is before anything else.
Yeah.
And when I couldn't find it, I then just decided, to create it myself.
Yeah.
So then in 2001, I was in matric. 2002, I was meant to go study psychology. And on our way to Wits University, I asked my mom, I go Wits Tech, which is now UJ.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing in UJ? I'm like, man, relax. We got there. And I enrolled for fashion, and she was surprised. But so I've never turned back.
You've never looked back ever since?
Yeah. Yeah, man. Interesting to hear that. But I think the most important one that I want to ask, because I see, man, that you're wearing some of, things that you have done yourself. Like, where is the love coming from, man, of fashion, and what did ignite it?
Okay. So one of the hardest questions for people to understand is that everyone has a fashion sense.
Yes.
Everyone loves music.
Yeah.
And yet, not everyone is a designer. Not everyone is a musician. So now, how do we separate to say, this is my love, this is my style, and yet I'm not a creator? So I think how I best answered that was my reaction from how I started and when I got into it. I never tried to recreate something that's already there. So it was just meant to flow with what I personally think. Personal story. Just yesterday, I decided to wash my curtains.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I then thought, okay, I need to get new curtains. When I got to the shops, I couldn't find what I wanted.
What resonated with you?
I went back to studio and I made myself new curtains.
Man.
Well, I'm not gonna sell this to anyone, but
this is just
you. Me. What because what I want is just not available.
Yeah.
And I have the ability and the skill now to create whatever that comes to mind. So I think that's why I believe that fashion is the right platform for me to be in.
I love it. I love how this inspires you as an individual, right? So now fast forward, you're growing up, now you're out of high school, you are inspired by Batwatsana and Liboleni, who are so out there with their individual style, right? How do you then bring it to you as Mpho, and you're not finding out there in our conventional stores and our normal retail stores style that resonates that resonates with you, right? So how do you get to a point now you're carving and shaping style sa gago se leng gore it's going to be exclusive and an exclusive identity to you as Mpho?
Well, I think many designers can maybe agree with this, that when you start, you all go crazy with denim. You turn it inside out.
Oh, I see.
Pockets, back, front.
Yeah.
Normally, and obviously with the style of the time, the style of the time I started was bootlegs. So we started there, and then later on skinnies. And whilst I was doing that and learning about more fabrics and textiles, I then fell in love with our own triket situation, very durable cotton, stretchy. You can wear it anytime, anywhere. I don't understand why we only wear it on weddings. And then also the urban smart wear, your linens. I fell in love with those.
Oh, wow.
So I explored much on those. And then quite recently, So my dad was a Swallows fan, right?
Okay, this I saw. Yeah.
So he passed on 2015. And when the club went defunct last year, I then thought, you know what? If he was alive, I'd love to create him a jersey. So that's how the vintage jerseys came about, you know? And then I did one. And then I discovered, no, man, there were Pirates 1980 jerseys, vintage ones.
Yeah.
Then I did those. Then I approached Pirates. Well, it's still ongoing. The talk is still ongoing.
Yes.
You know, so I think for me, and how my ways of creativity is, I think of something. I don't have a necessary step to step, you know,
Yeah.
Okay.
to say I start here, I finish here. Whatever that comes to mind, whatever that inspires. Like with the jerseys, it was my dad, you know, and I would have wanted to know how he would feel with Swallows going down under, you know, and 20 years from now, people won't know about Swallows.
Yes.
You know, so that's how the vintage jerseys came about, you know. And when I did that, then I discovered that, you know what, let's make it urban now. Let's make it 2025. you know.
Yeah.
So even if you do support Celtics, Swallows, Pirates,
Chiefs,
you don't want to have
yeah.
to wait for stadium to go wear your
Yeah.
Your
Delia.
jersey.
Yeah, you can wear it anytime.
You can wear it anytime
Yeah.
at work, at funerals, at a wedding, you know. So
Yeah.
I think that's what inspired the look that I'm currently working on.
Yeah.
Wow, we were going through your pictures, man, and I see you're wearing one of the jerseys now. You remember more when I showed you, he has some Pirates, it's a
Yes.
Chiefs, and all of these football clubs that we have, such amazing
Yeah.
stuff. How did you go through? Now you just mentioned vintage, right? And there was a time in South Africa where vintage wear was like a thing.
Yeah.
Everyone was wanting to go vintage with the caps
Yeah.
and the jerseys and things of that sort. Did you also maybe perhaps go through that era where you found it influenced your
I
style?
think when I started in fashion in 2002, I couldn't sew. I just started, you know. So what then we did is then we went thrifting, you know. And then with that, I got exposed to vintage, you know, your Scotch,
Yes.
you know, your bootlegs. I even had, at one point, I had a jumpsuit, yeah, velvet, you know, that I saw Lenny Kravitz rocking. And back then it was a bit crazy because it went borderline. Is this guy straight? Is he, you know? And yet at the same time, I come from a boys' school, so I'm very, you know, but I had to allow the whole exploration of myself, you know, the discovery of it, you know. So I think vintage has always been in. It'll even now.
Yeah.
It's still relevant, yeah.
Kids want to rock Pepe jeans. That's what we grew up rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they call it vintage.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, it's very funny. What is considered vintage is something that we grew up on. This is not like so long ago. It's about what, 20, 25 years ago. Yeah, Mo.
Yeah. So another question that I have, man, because I see you you know, you use the, you know, vintage wear study club right now that are still existing, but doing it in that way. So have you ever got, like, maybe they approach you or no, you're not supposed to use our badge and please do not use it? Have you ever came across that situation?
So the whole plan around it was to actually test the market,
Yeah.
and then create the data and then go to the clubs.
Oh.
Ne? So with that data, like currently with Sundowns, actually, I think they're the ones who are saying, you know what, dude,
We need this.
let's do this.
We're jumping on this.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. You know, with Pirates, I think because last year they started talking to Old School Company and they released the Jomosono jerseys. So it kind of brought a sign. We see what you do. We love what you do. But now we're really contracted to this guy. So what ways can we work around it? You know, with Chiefs, I'll be honest, they haven't even responded to me. You know, but
But have they seen what you're
seen
doing?
it, yeah. I've proposed to them. I've written emails to them. I've sent everything to them. Even in fact, 4 branches. I've done jerseys for 4 branches. you know.
Yeah.
So it's not as if they don't know about it.
They don't know
Yeah.
about it,
They-
yeah.
they- you know, maybe if it was a matter of I did it behind their back, then I'll be infringing on trademarks and patenting and how that works. you know. But in all the clubs, there's ongoing conversations. But the
Nice.
thumbs up so far,
Sundowns.
Sundowns.
Sundowns, and Swallows. Well, Swallows are not,
Eish.
on,
Yeah.
but they were like, hey, dude,
We love
for the fans, to give them that nostalgia, to give them that feel good, that history.
Run
Go
with
for
it.
it, run
Go
with
with
it,
it.
yeah.
I
No,
love
interesting,
it. Very,
interesting,
Mo,
man.
very,
Interesting.
very.
Because as someone who loves soccer, man, a Chiefs fan, by the way, it's going back to retro, man. I think they were sponsored by Kappa back in the days, and they tried to bring these retro T-shirts, but it's only gonna be limited. And they don't understand there's a huge market for these things, and people want to see themselves wearing those things. But kudos, man, for what you're doing, and please continue.
Definitely.
I would love to be one of your customers.
Yes, me too, Mo.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
So getting into Vault, man. What is Vault? Tell us more about Vault.
Okay, so Vault is in the history of Vault or the House of Vault. Okay,
The House
but
of Vault,
Let me start with Vault. So whilst I was in Vestec, rocking, my vintage clothes, one guy said to me, dude, you look like John Travolta from the movie Grease. I think the movie came out like 1988. Ne?
Yeah.
And then after that, they called me Travolta. And then Travolta later on moved to Vault. And then in 2015, that's when I said, you know what, let me formally now. Because I've been going solo from 2005 to 2014. And then 2015, I then decided to register the company, House of Vault. And then that's when I decided to do House of Vault. And then with House of Vault, it's a label, signature label, that looks at the client, to say what the client needs. So you get two different types of labels in terms of fashion. So you have a label whereby you have your own range and you tell people to go buy that. And then you have a signature label, designer client or label, that you allow your clients to come to you and tell you what they want. Like, for example, if you want to, let's talk about Versace.
Okay.
Versace has retail, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to the red carpet, let's say you're going to the Grammy Awards, you would go sit down with Donatella, tell her how you'd like to look, and then she'll design something specific for you. So now that's a signature label, right? So how I operate is exactly that. I allow the client to come in, take their needs, consult them, and then I then say, you know what, because of your needs and what you've given me, we feel best. Let's go for this look. What do you think? But we're with you on all the way.
Yeah.
It just gets a bit tricky when someone comes already with the look. They say, I want to look like this.
Like this.
And because I remember I had a matric dance dress last year. This beautiful woman, lady, she's 18 and she's size 42. And she came with a picture of Rihanna. And you're like, okay, maybe call in your parents. Let's take you through the process of what would look best on you.
On you.
This design is great. But this would be better. And she called me the day after her matric dance with tears to say, you know what, you are right. You are right. Had I gone with that idea,
it wouldn't have worked. It was going to be a disaster. So, Anakokhai, perhaps you're wondering, what is Mpho talking about? Or what are we talking about when we're talking about the House of Vault? Like he just mentioned that it was established in 2015. The journey of House of Vault began with a passion for fashion sparked in 2000 when founder Mpho Sekhoanyane was first exposed to modeling. Receiving retail vouchers as payment for fashion shows, Mpho struggled to find clothing that matched his unique style, particularly inspired by Lenny Kravitz. As you can see, of course, on our screen there, this inspired him to study fashion design in 2002 after matriculating. So very cool stuff. So I was going through, photos of Lenny Kravitz because I remember the name, but now I want to have like a proper picture, and now he mentioned John Travolta in the movie Grease, and I'm going through those pictures now as well. So this is how you looked in. I can imagine you rocking this style, man, and walking through the corridors and the grounds, and just in school, back in your varsity days. You
know what I wish I grew up in the times of social media now.
Ah.
You know, there's so much I could have just captured.
Yeah.
You know, and hey, then Jay, you had a camera. You know,
Yeah.
phones didn't have. Yeah, we had 3310s, and you know,
Yeah.
so there's not much that was captured. You know, just only a few here and there.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, all it may.
And I'm sure now it it all boils down, or it comes together now in the things that you're doing now, and the garments that you're creating now. Hey man, I came from Star Salon Kravitz, and then there was a time I rocked the John Travolta Grease style, and then I found myself going into the whole retro and vintage style. Yeah. Now finding yourself creating original garments from the House of Vault, man. It all comes together and it's full circle. I'm sure it feels for you. This is where now I'm finding myself creating very nice jerseys, but with a modern 2025 feel and style to it, man. Yeah, such amazing stuff. Yeah. Mo.
So another question that I would ask you: have you ever had any prominent people coming to you about designing or something?
Lots.
Yeah.
On a daily. What are we now on? March.
Yes, sir.
Just last month. Must I name drop now?
Yeah.
I mean, 1 or 2 nyana wouldn't hurt. I mean,
because hey man, hearing more you worked with, you know your whack.
Yeah.
You know, like
Okay. I'm just trying to think of my diary recently.
Yeah.
So, but I think the most interesting one we did, Tembisiete.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's a beautiful dress that came out in December.
Yeah.
Also, funny enough, with her mom was a designer.
Wow. Really?
So we were in Gandhi Square.
Yeah.
The same, yeah. So I think that's when we met, and then obviously as you go into shows and other things, then you, hey man, go on.
Yeah.
So I think that came out nicely. Also, I deal with a lot of sports guys. There's a coach, but I'm still doing his stuff now.
Okay.
So I can't say yes.
No, definitely. No.
Definitely.
Yeah, no. It has to stay in the vault. Yeah.
There's a PSL coach that I'm currently making a suit for.
Yeah.
He's going to a wedding next week.
Oh, man.
You know, so that's recent.
Yeah.
But now let me now, as you're thinking about them, let me take you to the first one that came in. The first big name, someone who's very popular and well known in the industry, comes to you, says, Mpho, I'm going to this such and such an event. I want you to dress me. What was that like, and who was that person, if you can remember them?
It was Mbali. Umbali acted Ko Yizo Yizo. This was back in 2004.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. She's the first one actually who came in and said, I'm going to take a chance.
Yeah.
Let's see if this will work out.
Yeah.
You know, and very patient with me. And then she introduced me to, her crew then, and then, it just got fuzzy around 2008 because people just wanted freebies. So you had to now draw a line to say, by then I was comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Linda will go to dress me because I'm famous. So let's stop flying.
Yeah. You have to pay. And it's funny that you mentioned, and this is a conversation we always have here in studio when we're hanging out in jail. And I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of people in society in general want to consume art. Whether it's fashion and handcrafted original garments, or whether it's music like myself, do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. People want to consume art, but they don't want to pay for it. And it's funny like that. Man, exposure. And it's like, my dude, like exposure is not gonna pay me now. I need to eat now. But let me ask you now, having gone through all of these transitions and styles and different styles that you've gone through, now finding yourself, creating garments now, what are some of the fabrics that you gravitate towards mostly, that I like, creating and sewing in this fabric, or I don't like that one because it does what are some of those? Okay,
the highlights, number one, the first thing that hit me first obviously was denim.
Okay.
yeah, then you kind of like, okay, I can do more.
Yeah.
And then 3 cats, when I first started with 3 cats,
What's
it
3
was
cats?
3 cats, shwe.
Oh.
Yeah, beautiful fabric,
Yeah.
very durable, cotton, has a bit of stretch in it, and now has probably more than 200 prints, you know. So I fell in love with Sishweshwe, and
Yeah.
I had an era ya Shweshwe where I'd rock Sishweshwe Monday to Sunday.
Wow.
You know? And then linen, there's different types of linens. You know, there's pure linen, there's American linen.
Yeah.
The more you go, the expensive it gets. You're talking, if you want a linen shirt, you need 2 meters. Pure linen is 350 a meter. So kalse lanje 700. That's so roki.
Go on.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I love also linen. It's easy to work with.
Yeah.
You know? So I think I prefer those. Then your bridal shiny stuff, satins. Yeah, if a client comes, yeah, let's do it. But yeah, that's
It's not really
yeah.
what speaks to you.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
see.
interesting.
Very.
Interesting, man. We speak about the kind of fabric that you use. So right now, to someone who is watching, because you know Rona Mokasi, I got 700,000 like yo, I got money.
Yeah.
So how do you convince people, you know, to buy into your work?
Yeah. So I think first thing that I decide, or rather, pricing is the most important thing. You know, so a lot of the way a lot of designers get it wrong is the one. Yes, their work is good, but their pricing is not market related. You know, so when I say market related, if someone is going to a wedding and someone is thinking a suit, all right. The options are, I go to China Mall, I get a suit for 500.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I want to look
Proper.
So I go to the shops. You go to Woolies, you find a suit for, let's say, 3.5 going up. So that's another option. But then you decide, nah, I want something personalized.
Yeah.
You know, then you come to me, for instance. Now, I've given you 2 already indications. You could have gone to China Mall, you could have gone to Woolies,
Yeah.
but you've decided to come to me.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm gonna say to you, my suit is 10K, if you have it, great, but chances is you'll say, nah, let me go to Woolies.
Yeah.
You know, so you wanna come in between those. So hence, I will say to you, the same fabric Woolies use, I will do your suit for 3K. For 2.8, you see, so then it then cancels out, you know, and also you realizing that with me, it will be more tailor made for you. It will have a feel for you, and it will have a touch that a Willis suit won't have. So I'll add another detail that if 2 people had to wear suits, you'd see you go to okay, same
Woolies.
fabric, but there's this detail in this suit. Definitely, it's not a Woolies suit. You know.
Yeah.
I love
Yo,
it, Mo.
bruh.
So, with that being said, having that in mind now, Mpho, you tailor the suit for Musi Mystic. I'm going to a graduation, whatever the case, right? Now, re tla re le bangata ke matric dance, or it's wedding season, it's warm outside. How do you then, as Mpho, stay or try to stay relevant to an ever-evolving fashion industry, and how do you stay up to date with all these trends and influences that are coming into the industry, in the space, and it's evolving, it's changing? How do you stay up to date and with the latest trends and all of those things? Yeah.
Okay, I'd say number 1, principles. Ne? One thing that never goes out of style is delivering on time. You get that right.
Yeah.
You stick to that. I promise you, 60% of your clients will come back.
Will be return business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm not, honestly, personally, right? I'm not so big on finding out what's the latest trends, you don't have to be a fashion designer to know that. It hits you, like, with our social media now, it hits you, right? But how then do you transfer what is the current style to suit whatever you are putting into. So, for example, people are no longer wearing skinny jeans, right? And they're now moving to more comfortable sizes and fits, right? Now, do I still stick to skinny jeans or do I move with the times, right? You have to move in with the times, but as you're moving with the times, what was it that was learned with the skinny jean era? So what was learned was fabric. In order to go skinny, you have to go stretchy. You have to look now for fabric. So take a bit of that, infuse it with the current style, you know. So in that way, you still have best of both worlds, you know.
Very, very interesting.
Hey,
very
Mosi.
interesting. Very cool
Yo,
stuff, man.
it is.
Because I'll tell you more. I'm someone who also went into, like, I don't know about you more, but back then when vintage was like a thing, I also went into like those cardigan jerseys, and I stayed with the hats. The hats for me have always been a thing, and it's a signature thing, you know. So I love how he explains the transition and how you try and keep up to date, but also staying true to yourself as the House of Vault. Yeah, very cool stuff, Mo.
Because the fashion also evolves, you know, and with the different types, some of the people, they get lost in translation, or and like, okay, what is retro and what is modern? But with the styles that you guys use nowadays, they literally look the part. So yeah, before we close, Mr. Mpho, what is it that you are working on right now, and what is the vision and the mission right now?
Okay, so right now, as I said, I'm still clientele based. That will never end. The retail element of it is the vintage jerseys. I think that's what we're concentrating on in terms of our retail, setting up online, you know, especially with what we're currently working with Sundowns on that. Setting up their online shop. But yeah, so making sure, because the demand is there. The demand is crazy, and also the pricing is just quite right. You know, I mean, imagine finding a jersey for 400. Wow. It's quite right. Wow. And obviously the demand will be crazy. Instead, if I could have just went, jersey is 1,000. I'll have lesser demand, but maybe still
have decent business. Yeah.
You know, but remember my principle is pricing must be right all the time. So, and also I'm a supply my area, you know, so I can't be in Soweto and come up with Sandton prices, you know. Yeah, maybe if I was in Sandton, but I think I still will be conscious enough to say, who am I actually trying to reach out to, you know, and also in that, African as they come, I always have the plight of my people in mind, you know, so one thing that will never change, even if, let's say, the House of Vault goes to New York, is having that understanding that, you know what, there should be a line continuously that will supply people where I come from. Yes, probably maybe I can sell a dress for 50,000. That's okay. That's for a particular client. But in terms of the retail line, have those prices for people where they can be affordable. So I think we going big with the jerseys. Yeah, that's what we're currently working on, and also it's the season.
It came just at the right time. So quickly before we close off again, is it different brands and labels, or is it all under House of Vault? There's the retail one, like you explained, where it's all things that people can come in, you know, and you said there's a custom made one, right? That way. So are they all under? Is it all House of Vault? Or is it House of Vault for one of them and a different name for the other?
No, it's all the House of Vault.
Oh, okay, I see. Very, very cool stuff. Yeah,
interesting. Before we let you go, Mr. Mpho, I just want to ask you two quick fire questions. It's something that we always practice when you have guests right here, right? So the first one is, what's the weirdest thing you've ever used as inspiration for a design?
Weirdest thing I've ever used? Wow. Geez. I think the weirdest thing... Oh yeah, now I do remember. We were doing a play, so I was doing costumes for a play. Right, and the actors couldn't get their lines right, so they then decided to say, you know what, let's go on a break.
Okay.
And whilst they're on a break, One of them was just reciting next to a tree. Like, they're reciting a poetry, and they're describing this tree in a poetic form. And as I was listening to him, it then hit me. I got an inspiration of, creating a range that would fuse, your very strong green earth colors.
Yeah.
And I think, that's one of the weirdest ways I've actually designed something.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Interesting. Last one. If you could switch lives with any fashion designer for a day, who would it be?
Sure.
From anywhere, international or right here at home?
Yes. Definitely, I think it'll have to be Karl Lagerfeld. He's recently passed. Interesting guy. Did you know that the guy started designing like in the 50s,
Okay.
right? Up until he passed away 2021. From 1965, the guy decided that I'm only going to work with two colors, black and white.
Oh.
And he stuck to it for over 55 years.
55 years
He
of
just
working
did
two colors.
black and white.
And he had ongoing business.
Crazy.
Black and white, fella. That's crazy. No, it is. It's too crazy.
I would, because I also love black and white.
Yeah.
I went to JP Boys, so I think it started there. So Karl Lagerfeld is one of the names that come to mind. And also, who's this guy from France? Daniel Hetcher. Daniel Hetcher, we just know the genes that Daniel Hetcher. DH, ne? Daniel Hetcher was once a president, PSG.
What?
Club,
What?
So I also dabble in football. I'm also a coach. So it would be interesting to actually meet the guy, and say, you know what?
I also do a bit of what you do.
Nice.
So hence, I don't know if you do look at the kit at PSG.
Yeah.
It's always like now they are Nike, but they the first soccer brand to do Jordans.
Yeah, Jordans. Yeah.
Wow. Very, very cool stuff. Interesting, man. I love it more when we have people like yourself, man. Coming with so much information, knowledge, and insight. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier on with Solly, when there's people such as yourself in the studio, if it were up to me and more, I promise you, we would stream and get into the conversation the entire day, because there's so much that you guys have acquired over the years that needs to be shared with the people out there, man. And I love it so much, man. So with that being said, where can one reach out to you? How do we find you as Mpho? Social media, WhatsApp, anything that you can share?
Okay, cool. So in terms of my social pages, currently, what's available is Facebook, The House of Vault, VOLT. Our Insta, we are reworking it. I decided to change looks, so I had to just shut it down, recreate it. Probably maybe it will be done by next month. And then WhatsApp, I'm available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please, if you can, share the number with us. Yes, sir.
Yeah. 083.
Okay.
861. 5684.
One more time, please.
083 861 5684.
There we go.
Thank you so much for being here with us, man. We really appreciate you taking your time to sit down here with us and just explore about doing your work.
I have one question for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What is your soundtrack for the day so far? What's your one soundtrack for the day?
Soundtrack, Mo?
Soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like Bina?
Yeah.
For me, it would be Residual Self-Image.
Residual Self-Image?
Yeah, by Aries.
Yeah.
Nice. That one for me, man. Woke up with it, still jamming it to it now, and I'm gonna sleep with it.
Yeah,
so that's it's my one for today. Man.
Nice one. I woke up today with Just My Imagination by Renee Marie, but Boys to Men has done it. The Temptations, I think, if memory still serves well, are the first ones to do it. It was just my imagination running away with me. Yeah, that's the song I woke up with in my mind, and I was playing it as I was getting ready in the morning. So that's my song for today. Yeah. How about you? What's your soundtrack?
This morning, Double HP, may his soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
Featuring Selwyn and Slicker. They're on our own the remix. Beautiful song.
I see.
Beautiful song.
Such cool stuff.
Such
cool stuff. I love how you asked that question. That was a great
man,
one. Yeah,
because it does not only end here, man.
Of
The morning
course.
is still starting.
Of
right?
course.
It's 5 minutes past 11. Of course, people have plans, and obviously they want to get on with also wearing. So it was nice to have you right here at this time, because someone will consider you and say, you know what, I'm going somewhere,
This
tomorrow,
weekend,
this weekend. So yeah, definitely they will reach out to you. So thank you so much, man, for coming here
you.
and being here. We wish that you're going to come again and share more of the deal that you've just had with Sundowns.
Sundowns,
man. Big, very
and
huge.
also reveal who the coach is that's going to the wedding next week. It would so be cool to find out, and maybe bring along pictures of him rocking the suit and see what the design came out like, man. The final product. I can't wait more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so guys, that's where we're going to end it today right here on the